What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. Today, I thought we would do something a little different because, yes, we are about halfway through December already, and somehow it's 62 degrees here in Pennsylvania, and it hasn't snowed yet, which means no salt on the roads, which means we're taking the Z06 out for a drive. So we're going to do a couple things in this video. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the newer news coming out about the C8 Corvette, or the Corvette SUV, I guess is going to be called. There is a good potential that that car is coming very soon. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the E-Ray. We're also going to talk a little bit about the C8 Corvette Z06 and my AWE exhaust that you guys are going to be able to hear. I'm going to do a couple high RPM pulls on this so you guys can hear what it sounds like from the inside in manual shift mode here with the paddles. So we're going to do a little bit of all of it. So let's get right into it. First, we're going to start with the Corvette SUV. If you guys didn't see the video I made a couple days ago talking about the new Corvette ZR1 and how I think it might be coming sooner than later because the plant is being shut down on the 5th of February and it's being shut down indefinitely. They're retooling it for something. We really only have about two options here. It's either that ZR1 or it's potentially the new Corvette SUV. Now, we've seen a couple different leaked images. Rick Conti actually shared something, and we're still not sure exactly what it is. All I can tell you is it's not anything we've seen before on the C8 Corvette, even though it is definitely a C8 Corvette badge. So, is it a ZR1? Is it an SUV? I'm not sure, but there's definitely something different coming. And that's what's got my curiosity piqued, because yes, there is something different coming, and it could be the ZR1 really early, because if they're retooling already, then they plan on having these things on the road by summertime. So very cool there. But even cooler in some people's minds is that we might be getting an SUV, and that little leaked image from Rick Conti, honestly, it kind of looks more like something totally different than something like the ZR1. So I could see that being an SUV badge, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. So with all of that said, what are your thoughts? Do you guys think it's the SUV? Do you think it's the ZR1? Why is Chevy shutting down the plant for indefinite time frame? I mean, it's happening on the 5th of February, but they're not saying it's only for a week or only for 2 weeks. They're shutting it down for tours specifically indefinitely, which means they're changing something and they don't want us to see it. So what are your thoughts? But if it is in fact an SUV, what are your thoughts on that? I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with an SUV, because if it's done right and they do it like Lamborghini did with the Urus, or with Porsche has done it a couple times with their SUVs, it could be very, very beneficial to the entire Corvette lineup. If they do it wrong, it's going to water down the Corvette brand to the point where it's not special anymore. So fingers crossed that GM does it right. Now, moving on from there, guys, we do also have a little bit more information on the E-Ray now. A lot of people are putting out reviews like Motor Trend and all these other magazine companies talking about the car and how much they love it. So it is going to be a really awesome car. They're talking about it being one of the best touring cars out there, and I totally agree. I think if you use the car for what it was built for, it is going to be the best of the best. Now, I've seen a lot of people out there saying that they're going to be able to take this car to the track and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, while you can take it to the track, it is not necessarily the track car. So in the Corvette lineup right now, the Z06 is obviously the dedicated track car, while the E-Ray is more a dedicated touring car. You would take that car on long road trips from, Pennsylvania to California or something, whereas you might not want to do that with the Z06. So very cool, but at the same time, as long as you're using it for the right reasons, it's going to be an awesome car. Now, I've heard already Motor Trend talking about the pros and cons of the car. They're listing the pros as almost Z06 speed, the Z06 look, and really awesome handling. They're listed in the cons as not quite as fast or quick as GM advertised. So I'm not really 100% sure what they're talking about there, but it sounds like they're not really able to hit that 2.5 to 60 mark, stuff like that. So we'll see how that all pans out. But they did also say that the E-Ray is 300 pounds plus heavier than the Z06. So again, not necessarily the best for a track car. Now, if you factor in the 300 pounds plus, you are pushing very, very, very close to a 4,000-pound Corvette. I'm not a big fan of adding that much more weight to a platform that's already a little too heavy, in my opinion. The C8Z06 would be just an absolute beast at 3,200 pounds. Unfortunately, it missed the mark by a couple hundred pounds, but we're adding even more to the E-Ray. So while I understand why they're doing it, or why the weight had to be added, I don't quite feel that that car has its place on a track. Now, I guess it can, assuming, you know, you're okay with the extra weight thrown around in the turns and everything. But at the same time, if you want a track car, the E-Ray's not it. Now, moving on, guys, we've talked long enough that the car is kind of warm, so I'm going to crack the window so we can hear the exhaust a little bit better, and we're going to go into manual mode. So some of you guys have voiced your concerns about some of the videos that I put out about it not revving all the way up to 8,600 RPM, and that is true. We didn't do many. There was a couple pulls in there where I did, but we didn't do many because we were trying to get certain sounds for the AWE launch video. But today, we're going to do it all. So, here we go. Second gear. That was an 8,600 RPM run. And we'll do a couple more. Oh God, there's something about this car. This thing just brings an absolute smile to my face when driving. It is such a beastly vehicle. And that's coming from somebody who owns a C7 Corvette ZR1. This thing is just different. It's on a different level. And I've heard a lot of you guys asking me, do you like this better than the ZR1? I can't really answer that question because they're both really cool cars, but for different reasons. Listen to that exhaust. My God, did AWE ever nail it with this thing? All right, we're getting out to a highway here in a second where we'll be able to give it a little bit more. Here we go. All right, so we're going to go from pretty low RPM all the way up. Stoplight to stoplight. You gotta love Pennsylvania traffic. I love the exhaust though, guys. I'm gonna give a couple more rips and then we're gonna wrap this video up. God dang, this thing is unreal. Holy crap. Listen to that thing purr. It shifts so hard. I mean, I love it. This is definitely a track car. The way it drives, the way it handles. That's 6,000 RPM right there, guys, and this thing's already screaming. I love it. Oh, God. What a fantastic exhaust. What a fantastic car. I love it. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for the video. Hopefully you like this little bit different approach to it. I figured we'd go for a drive and really just kind of change things up versus me, you know, sitting at my computer desk and talking. So hopefully you like this. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next upload.